Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to another video from me. Today we're going to look at a very special car. This is a young timer. This is the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, built in 2000 and has the internal code W202. This particular car is equipped with a 2.1 liter 4-cylinder diesel engine. This was the first generation Cdi engine from Mercedes-Benz. I think this car can be considered a young timer. There's still many people that respect the W202. This is a classic Mercedes in a lot of aspects. The 202 was produced between 1993 and 2000. This was the first C-Class Mercedes. The predecessor of this car is the iconic Mercedes-Benz 190, the W201. So this was the Mercedes-Benz C-Class for the 90s. The design of this car started in 1987. And the final design by Murat Güneş was selected in 89. The first prototypes went into testing in 98 and the final production design prototypes commenced testing in 1990. 1.8 million of these models were produced. Assembly took place in Germany, South Africa, Mexico, Vietnam and Thailand. This car has the engine in the front, but it's a rear-wheel drive car. This particular C200 Cdi engine has an inline 4-cylinder 2.2 16-valve diesel engine. This was the first generation Cdi for Mercedes, with the engine code OM611. This car had both a 5-speed manual and a 4-speed automatic transmission option. In 1996 there was an update to the transmission and then there came a 5-speed automatic, which is also called the 5G-tronic. This transmission also allowed manual shift. At the launch of this car, the car had a standard driver airbag, ABS and integrated side impact protection. In 1997, limited slip differential or ASR became standard. This specific model is also called, here in Europe we call this car the C200 Combi, but it's also well known for the name T model. T standing for Touring Wagon or Touring car. The car that you're looking at right now is the facelift of the W202. This facelift model started its life in June 1997. There are a few known issues when it comes to this W202 model. First of all, there are some complaints when it comes to electronical issues. Well, granted, this car is potentially 17 years old or older, so that's not a big shame. But the other thing you should look out for is rust, especially around the wheel arches and the door handles. Rust can be fixed, but it's not exactly what you expect from a Mercedes-Benz. Part of the cause of these problems lay in the paint job that they used for these cars, and the paint had a watery base. After 2005, Mercedes started using different paint again. Also, its successor, the W203, suffers from rust. The Mercedes-Benz OM611 engine, the first Cdi from Mercedes, has a capacity of 2.1 liters. This particular model has 102 horsepower and it has around 300 Nm of torque, especially since this is a diesel engine. This car has a turbocharger and the Cdi system is a common rail diesel injection. This particular OM611 engine was produced between 1998 and 2011. These engines are quite indestructible. The predecessor of this engine, the OM611, was the OM604. The OM604 engine was a straight 4-cylinder dual overhead camshaft engine with 16 valves, and this was basically a very old-fashioned diesel engine. No turbocharger attached to this engine, but in 1998 Mercedes-Benz thought they could do better and they introduced the Cdi engine. Nowadays in 2017 you don't see a whole lot of these cars driving around no more. Most of these cars have very high mileages, when the car is well maintained it shouldn't be a problem, but a lot of these cars they suffer from rust, and if they're not treated right after each winter then they literally rust away. So that's one of the reasons why you don't really see these cars that often on our roads no more. This particular model has been looked after very well. You can see the paint job is still very good after 17 years. That's mainly because this car always been sitting in a garage. And also when you look at the mileage, 128,000 kilometers is really nothing for these type of cars. If I should buy this car, it will cost me around 4,000 euros. And that's not a lot of money for a lot of car. These type of cars already depreciated up to the point that they cannot depreciate anymore. If you drive 20,000 kilometers or more each year, you might as well consider buying an old Merc, especially an old Mercedes-Benz diesel. There must be a reason why all these taxi companies all employ Cdi engines from Mercedes-Benz. When you browse the internet and you look for parts, you might be amazed by the amounts of parts that's still available in 2017. Maybe if you think maintenance will be very expensive for a Mercedes-Benz, maybe you can talk to your garage, you buy your own parts off eBay, bring the parts to the garage and only pay for the mechanics. That might be a good solution to keep maintenance cost low. After driving this car for a little bit more than half an hour, I fell in love with it. This is really a classical Benz. And even after 17 years there are no rattles and no squeaks when you drive this car. I like the way the engine comes to life when you turn the key. I know this is an old diesel engine, but back then in 1998 the technicians at Mercedes-Benz didn't have to care too much about emissions, so they just built the best engine they could for the time. I think when you treat this engine right, it might as well drive 500,000 kilometers. Of course there are very specific problems with the Cdi Engine. Not that there are a lot of problems, but there are a few things that you should look out for. I'm not sure what the word is in English, but I think the CDI uses vaporizers to vaporize the diesel fuel into the ignition chamber. Those vaporizers can be a source of trouble. One of the indicators is that you will smell some diesel fuel in your interior of the car. That's a good indicator that you should open your engine bay and look for black sludge around the vaporizers of your diesel engine. If you're out of luck, then you need to replace 4 of them, which will be costly. But then again, this will not happen every 100,000 kilometers. Also, this is a diesel engine, so if you make sure that the engine is up to temperature before you really floor it, then it will last a lifetime. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm very enthusiastic about this car. If you have any questions about this car, you can always leave me a comment below and I will get back at you guys as soon as possible. We hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.